why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled?
I don't understand it. Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I think, well, really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going.
A little more than a week since Trump's Justice Department dropped the explosive memo, which concluded that Epstein had indeed killed himself in jail, did not keep a client list, and also that files related to the investigation, which the Justice Department said included 1,000 hours of video depicting child sexual abuse, would not be released to the public, effectively ending and burying the case, leading to a rare backlash by the MAGA base, or at least its online element, which still has no end in sight, despite the best attempts by some influencers and Trump himself to tamp down the criticism. The uproar exhibited by some in the MAGA base against the actions of their dear leader is in fact such a rare phenomenon that even a specimen as spineless and testicle-less as Speaker of the House Mike Johnson felt confident enough to raise his voice and call for the Justice Department to make public documents related to the case in an appearance on Benny Johnson's podcast. Always fun when these lying sacks of shit go public to claim that they're in favor of the thing that they literally voted against and blocked that very same fucking day. Look, Mike is so in favor of releasing the files to the public that he instructed his Republican colleagues on the U.S. House Rules Committee to vote against the Democratic amendment that would have allowed Congress to release the files. That's how pro-release the files Mike is. What makes the whole thing especially funny is that a lot of these guys, like Dan Bongino, previously right-wing podcaster, now deputy FBI director, Kash Patel, previously I don't even know, now FBI director, is that they built a big part of their careers on this stuff. And then, after Trump's election victory, on going in and outing the elite cabal of pedophiles that Epstein had on his infamous Black Book, which for some totally inexplicable reason seemed to only hypothetically include Democrats in their minds. And now, after this glorious U-turn by the Trump administration, employing the classic "these are not the droids you're looking for" maneuver, even some in the MAGA base, a base renowned for its cult-like solidity, are finding it hard to stomach.
My mouth is watering right now. It's because
After all, they were promised a list.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients? Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files.
She later clarified.
In February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
So let's unpack all of this. First, the client list. Okay, you meant the general term for file and not specifically the client list, even though you were explicitly asked about a fucking client list. Okay, note, doesn't really know what words mean. Second, Madam, nobody's asking you to release child porn. And if anybody is, they should be locked up. But are you telling us that you have in your custody tens of thousands of child porn videos, reportedly including microcassettes, DVDs, CDs, and computer hard drives of the stuff, and you have no one else to charge? Not a single perpetrator, and you're now closing the case? That sounds insane to me. Third, him being a foreign, and I believe Israel is the allegation, agent. You don't know anything about it, but you'll get back to us. Sure. And fourth, you released a foolproof video with a minute missing from it. Wow. Nailed it. So perhaps it is no surprise that Pam Bondi is receiving the bulk of the ire from, let's say, the more rebellious elements of the MAGA influencer sphere. It seems, though, that they remain convinced that their leader must have nothing to do with this. What do you think he's whispering to him? Golf stories? But whatever, let's not even delve into the fact that these two were neighbors for decades, that he flew on the Lolita Express 7 times, and that Epstein described himself as Donald Trump's closest friend for 10 years. Let bygones be bygones, right? Of course, this is the man who would bring the pedophiles to justice, chanted the influencers. His closest friend for 10 fucking years and certified Lolita Express enthusiast. Makes perfect sense. And yet, as recently as Trump's re-election campaign, that Donald himself wasn't exactly 100% on where he stood on the subject.
So, if you were president, would you declassify, you can answer yes or no to these, would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
Yeah, guess I would. But it's full of phony stuff that might ruin a poor, rich pedophile's life. So you don't want to go overboard with this stuff. I mean, the guy was already laying the groundwork for his phony excuses before he was even elected. And they still elected him, allegedly, to release the files. Again, makes perfect sense. And now he's still doing the same thing.
Specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it.
These files were made by Obama. Wait, Epstein was arrested during your first term. He mysteriously died during your first term. And now you're seriously blaming the black guy again.
The Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake, all that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring.
And then we also had a historic post on Truth Social by Trump during the weekend where he said, "What's going on with my boys and in some cases, girls?" Great start, Tony. They're all going after Bondi, who is doing a fantastic job, blah, 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 over a guy who never dies. Now, this is a historic post because it is Trump's first post on Truth Social, his social media platform, that got ratioed, meaning that more people commented on it than liked it, which the internet sages claim signifies total ownage. So where does that leave us? Will this be enough to foster enough rebellion to bring the downfall of the reign of Lord McNugget, who evidently, contrary to his supporters' wishes, gives zero shits about the Epstein investigation? Sadly, I doubt it's enough, but it's a good start.